Welcome back to Gimme Five with Jones and Eli, another guest pod edition. Today we have a great friend of ours, a great friend of the show, Luke Gardiner, a great up and coming mind in the film world. So, Luke, we have a very important question for you today. What is the best Star Wars movie of all time?
Now, I know may not be a popular opinion, but I love The Last Jedi. I love the sequel trilogy. It's my generation's films. I loved watching them in cinemas, and I love what Rian Johnson does with this movie. He takes Star Wars and makes it more, universal. He's talking about real world issues and themes, and I love what he's doing with it. I think it's beautiful.
I think this is the worst take in Gimme Five history. I'm not exaggerating with that. Before the pod, we were talking to Luke, and he said he had a hot take. And I thought he was going to come in with a prequel with, 6 or something like that. 8? The Last Jedi? That's the worst movie, and it's not even close. I think I almost walked out of the movie theater when I saw that. It's by far the worst movie. Anything in that last 3, that's the last 3 in order. It goes 8, 9, 7 in terms of, decreasing order. But 8, oh my God. We'll get into that in a second. I'm going to give you my answer. And it's probably not the one a lot of people are going to say. I know everybody loves 5. People like 4. It's the original. People even like 6. The best movie, guys, it's the third one. Okay? Oh my God. What a film. Yes, Luke's shaking his head. But it's fantastic. The emotion, the sadness, the empathy, it's the culmination of this rise of Anakin. You see him truly go from a young child into now this adult into Vader. And especially if you've watched him in the correct order, which is 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, it's so just beautiful to watch. Jones.
Yeah, so much to unpack there. I still can't believe Luke just said The Last Jedi was the best Star Wars movie. I can't wait to hear the rationale on that one. Yeah, 3 is my favorite too. I just love the action. And I think, CGI was finally at a point where they could really make things look realistic, have really great lightsaber fights in that one, and just, great crux in the Anakin story. But I think 5 is objectively the best made film. Really great acting performances, great plot points. Obviously, the famous "I am your father" scene. I think that's objectively the best, and I have no problem with that. But 3 is my favorite as well. Luke, we need to hear more about this Last Jedi take, though.
I love the central theme of the movie. You don't have to be important to be someone. The whole thing in the end that Rey isn't actually anyone important, which was subsequently destroyed by J.J. Abrams in the disastrous number 9 film. But I love that central theme. I think it's so beautiful with the red sand scene is really incredible. The relationship between Rey and Kylo, the killing of Snoke was so unexpected. There were so many different turns. I thought it was a radically different Star Wars movie and really could have launched the franchise in a new direction. But then they hired J.J. Abrams, who kind of ruined it all.
Well, but you're talking about how 9 ruined 8. 8 ruined 7 completely. I remember being with you. I remember being with you. I remember, quite frankly, being with you in person after 7 had come out, before 8 was coming out, and we were theorizing all this stuff. Oh, who's Snoke? Who's this? Who's that? Whatever. All these themes and all this craziness that had just happened in 7, and then 8 came along, and everybody just fucking died. And everything that happened in 7 was completely undone. Snoke wasn't the bad guy anymore. Kylo and Rey, there all that weird stuff going on. Luke, at the end, there's that weird thing where Luke dies, but then he doesn't actually die, and he's not actually there, and flies into space. What the fuck was that? It made no sense, that movie. I'm thinking about it right now. I laughed. I think it's
uncomfortable with it.
I'm not comfortable.
You just want the generic plot structure.
You're uncomfortable with it, Elias. You are uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable with someone taking Star Wars and making it different. That's what about it.
That's the beauty of the first 3, is that it was different completely.
That's what Star Wars needs.
I mean, I think 9 was the biggest sin of all time. I agree that probably 8 is better than 9. 9 was so bad, and for me, completely just delegitimized one of the greatest villains in movie history in Palpatine. It was the decision was nonsensical there. If you're going to bring back Palpatine, bring back Palpatine.
Yeah, that was a disaster, because you've got J.J. Abrams, who comes in very traditional, makes traditional Star Wars film. Basically, it's A New Hope over again. And then Rian Johnson's like, actually, we're going to go in a radical direction. He's bringing new directions. And then J.J. Abrams brings it back into the middle in this weird in-between of like radical and traditional that just doesn't work at all. So I think we can agree on that.
So did you not like 7 then?
No, I like 7. I remember talking to your mom about 7 and us being like, 7's good, but it's just kind of, it's been done before.
No, I agree. It was 4. It was 4, but done again.
So where do we land on Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones?
I like the films. Like, it's hard to go back and watch the CGI. I'm such like a CGI hater. But I grew up with them and I watched them at an age where I wasn't like really thinking critically. I just loved Star Wars. So I think always in my head, I'll have a love for those films. Also the Phantom Menace, fight with Darth Maul is just so incredible that I still love those films.
I know people don't like Phantom Menace a lot, but I actually am a big fan of it. I think Jones is giving me a weird eye.
That scene with Maul is great.
No, but I think the characters, Maul is a crazy villain. I was terrified of him when I first saw it. I think Qui-Gon Jinn is actually a really interesting character. I love Obi-Wan. I really like the storyline of like young Anakin. I think knowing, especially if you've seen 4, 5, 6, I don't know that it would have the same impact if you just watched one on its own. But if you know who Darth Vader is and who he's going to become, watching this little boy with so much power and, pod racing and all that stuff, it's cool. I think maybe not critically, maybe the CGI is bad, the technical effects, but I think as just a fan, a casual fan of the movies and of the franchise, watching that movie is exciting. 2 for me is a little bit boring, but I really like Phantom Menace.
Is Jar Jar Binks a good character?
Oh.
No, you don't think?
We all know the answer to that.
I like it.
Awful. That's one of one's worst quality. You like Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah.
That's the worst take.
No, that's a better take than your take. Your take is absolutely
everybody
correct.
hates Jar Jar Binks in the Star Wars
but why?
theory
because he has
world.
a knowing voice?
They just made him a Sith Lord like they intended
but
to.
They were going to. That was the plan.
I know.
Right.
I know.
But without that, he's a very empty, annoying.
That's not his fault, Jones. That's not his fault.
Well, I'm not blaming actual Jar Jar, the human, or not human, I guess, the being. I'm blaming George Lucas or whoever was responsible for this botch.
Luke, what are your thoughts on my take on 3?
3 is also like it's like the best, the prequels, that fight at the end. It's a solid, if it's a bit of a generic pick for favorite, but
no, it's not at all.
No, it is.
No,
so many people love 3. So many people love 3. That's why when you said I have
5 is the most popular.
5 would be the most like film take. Like that is the best
and I
film.
think people love 4 because it's the original.
And people love 4, but people in our generation, I think would say 3. I think a lot in our generation would say 3. And I honestly think the best scene of 3, I don't know if either of you disagree, is the Mace Windu confronting Palpatine scene into Anakin coming in there and having the decision. I just keep yelling at my TV every time, Anakin, don't cut off his hand. Everything will be okay. Padme will be saved. And he does it every damn time.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I'm still just can't get over the take from Luke about this. I want to hear you explain the last 2 minutes when somehow Luke, like this, it just makes me mad talking about it. You talk about defying all Star Wars, everything that's been built up before. I understand there are some good parts of that, and you want to go against the grain a little bit, and it's cool to be new, and you say I'm not comfortable with it or whatever. But we're just making shit up at the point when you say you want Luke to somehow hologram himself in somewhere, fight off every single person. He's not actually there, then die again, and then Leia is dead but somehow flies? What? That just defies everything that we've seen for the last 20 years.
That's the point. It's
years.
So you didn't.
You can't just make stuff up.
My jaw was on the floor. That didn't happen in 7. It was. I thought it was
because it
cool.
Can't happen. I know that
happened in Star Wars.
No, but it can't. That's like if in Harry Potter, if at the end of Harry Potter, Voldemort magically turned into a freaking unicorn.
He could probably do that, Elias.
No, he can't. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
See.
But there's some rules within it.
I don't think there are incredibly defined values around all of reality in Star Wars or Harry Potter. Like new shit could happen, and then that's part of the universe.
But it's just
we don't live in that universe.
I know we don't live in the universe, but it's just stupid, and it makes it not the best movie. And also Snoke dying. I'm sorry, Snoke was a cool villain. After 8, who's the bad guy?
I do hate that to have your villain go out like that. Oh.
No, he dies. Kylo becomes good. Hux becomes good. Everybody who was bad in 7, it just turns into be a good guy or dead by the end. And so they have to literally bring back a villain who is so obviously dead to make there be some sort of anti-hero, or not anti-hero, but antagonist.
Yeah, they should have just sticked with Kylo Ren as the main bad guy. They didn't need to add another one. And
he never should have kissed Rey.
So many things to break down here. The point is, Luke Gardiner thinks The Last Jedi is the best. This has been Give Me 5 with Jones and Eli. Thanks to the great Luke Gardiner for coming on. Gentlemen, thanks for talking.